Good morning, crypto questions, answers, news. We have another Market Minute brought to you this morning. And today, what are we talking about? Well, we've got Bitcoin and Ethereum, had a little bit of red this morning and moving sideways. And it looks like we're going to be waiting on what the Feds have to say this afternoon. El Salvador talking about or considering paying wages in Bitcoin. We see Fox getting into the crypto and launching NFTs. And then Grayscale, rumor has it, they acquired $2 billion in crypto over the weekend. And then last thing was hedge funds to have 10% of their holdings in cryptocurrency by 2026. That's a lot. Hey, good morning, Curtis. How are you doing?
Doing pretty good, Jeff. Everything's looking nice and beautiful here in North Carolina, and yeah, just I think I'm waiting on the news, just like everybody else that's into crypto. And I think we got a 2:30 Eastern Standard Time is the big time.
Okay. So that's basically we're going to see whether the Fed is going to be retracting on and shutting down their money printing machine, or are they going to be supporting the current situation? Is that what we're waiting on this morning?
Yeah. So there's definitely been some big signs of inflation. I think the sentiment has been Jerome Powell said that he's willing to let the inflation run higher. So I think in May we saw 5% in the CPI, which is good for crypto, and I think they're not expected to make any policy moves, but they may signal that they're changing their bond buying policy. If they do that, depending on how tough they talk, you may see Bitcoin and crypto break one way or the other. If it's business as usual, this is very good for crypto. Or if they announce more money printing, more quantitative easing, anything like that, we're going to see it break up in a good way. So I think right now the Fed's currently buying about 80 billion in treasuries and about 40 billion in mortgage-backed securities. So as much as I like to talk about how Bitcoin is this decentralized thing, there's kind of this love-hate relationship, because regardless of what we want, it's still tied to the U.S. dollar and the U.S. economy and what the Fed does at this point in time. So if it's business as usual, I think we go up. If there is talks of tapering back on any of this treasury or mortgage-backed securities buying, I think we go in the opposite direction. I think that this moment at 2:30 kind of determines our short-term plan. And for me, Jeff, that's accumulation over the summer. If the news is bad, right, we get a chance to buy cheap crypto one last time. And if it's good, I'm just going to hold on, maybe even take a long position. So,
yeah, that sounds like a really good plan. I mean, we'll wait and see. I mean, with the amount of inflation that's happening worldwide, I mean, our governments have a big bill ahead of them.
yeah,
let's talk about quickly. El Salvador, had recently passed a bill legalizing Bitcoin as a tender, and now there's rumor that they're considering paying wages in Bitcoin. So that's the news just keeps getting better, and things keep getting more crypto in El Salvador. I really think they're starting to they have set a world stage, and everybody's keeping an eye on what's going on there. So that's exciting news and good on the upside for cryptocurrency as a whole. So, we had seen earlier this year where various sports figures had talked about receiving 50% of their contract payments in crypto, Bitcoin, and the likes of that. What's your thoughts about this type of news, and how will it be affecting what's going on, or will it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it will, because market cap is determined by the amount in circulation and price, and the more money that pumps into Bitcoin, whether it's through USDT or USDC, there's any over the counter that pumps in fiat in exchange for Bitcoin is going to be good. So if companies and the El Salvadorian government decide that they're going to pay wages, well, then they're going to have a pretty large call for Bitcoin to ante up. So I think it's very good news. I think if they do it, I think there's a good possibility that other countries will follow. And this is kind of a silent move away from the dollar for those countries. And I'm pretty sure that the U.S. Treasury and Fed and United States isn't going to have it. So there's going to be a fight, and we'll just have to see how it goes. But I think it's great news. And yeah.
So, that's and great timing as we're heading into the summer, and we'll figure out what's going on. It's exciting news. So let's move and shift a little bit and talk about the investment folks out there, the big money, the Wall Street boys and the likes of that. So Grayscale, rumor has it they acquired $2 billion in crypto over the weekend. And here I thought crypto was going to fall even further. I think we talked about holding the door open, didn't we?
Yeah, and I'm not sure if the door is still being held open or not. I think that again, I think a lot of people are waiting on the Fed. But yeah, your Michael Saylors of the world and your Bitcoin enthusiasts have definitely used this time to buy up as much as possible. Selling off debt to buy Bitcoin, I think, is a pretty bold strategy.
Yes.
And I think it's definitely good for the crypto market in general. Again, more money in, and what a great exchange. I'm happy to sell any debt that I own for Bitcoin. You can have mine.
Absolutely. It's brilliant. Hedge funds by 2026 considered to hold 10% of their holdings in cryptocurrencies. That there again is another pretty bold statement.
So. Yeah, absolutely. The sentiments over the past 6 months went from don't hold any more than 5% of your portfolio in cryptocurrency. Now, all of a sudden, hedge funds are talking about 10%. So, a lot of you that got in the last month and a half, 2 months that are not feeling so great right now, these big companies with all this money and liquidity are starting to say, hey, we're in it for the long run. And if they're in it for the long run, maybe you should be too.
Yeah. And, I think this is a really important point, is cryptocurrency for the long run. Bitcoin, Ethereum, these, our top cryptos have long run upside benefits. The flash in the pan, get rich quick. Yes, that can happen. But we know year over year, the market's moving up. And so, the Michael Saylors who said, yes, absolutely, in conversations, you can outperform me in 1 year with your trading, buying and selling the dips and doing all of that stuff. But come and talk to me in 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, I got a feeling that Michael Saylor will be among the richest people in the world. He'll be on that list for sure at the top.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Let's some other good news that's going on, and is Fox purchase, with their whole move into the crypto space and the creation of their arm for, now they're talking about their NFT studio. So what do you think about that?
Well, NFTs have definitely seen their day in the sun this year. I think that there was kind of a small bubble that was created because it was mostly money and not a whole lot of actual adoption. However, with Fox kind of coming into play, and we had the NBA and some other sports networks, I think we're going to start to see a little bit more mainstream play here. Fox, the company that is putting the money into their studios called Blockchain Creative Labs and Bento Box Development, and they are the makers of Bob's Burgers and Laser Wolf and Craptopolis, which is made by the creators of Rick and Morty. So, I've talked about in the past how one day we're going to be sitting in front of our televisions and you're going to see a QR code to purchase your favorite character. And I think that is about to become a reality. I don't think we'll see it this summer, but I think 2022, it's going to become pretty commonplace to turn on your television and get a collectible. And the reason why that's important, we talk about scarcity and, baseball cards and these physical items that kind of deteriorate over time to create scarcity. Just think about how many people lose their Bitcoin keys or you've heard all these stories. There's a kind of a natural scarcity that happens with items in the crypto world that have a fixed supply just through transfer. So these items, even some of your items right now that you think are not worth the money, just think about in 20 years. NFTs are art, and it's the art market, and it is dominant. That these projects that are launching now are going to be worth their weight in gold.
Absolutely. It's a very exciting time. It's very exciting. All of these new adoptions, like let's talk about, before this year, DeFi was a pipe dream. Mm-hmm. And here we have it. Now we see the launch of NFTs, and there's been some very successful plays in the NFT space. We've seen a number of artwork sold for the, tens of millions, 50, 60 million dollars, so this is going to be the NFTs play, I think, is going to become huge in 2022 and going forward. So I think that, it's not that NFT's over. It had its moment in the sun, and with the cryptocurrency retracement, I think that everything's just kind of cooled down and people are taking stock. So it's an exciting time.
Yeah. And when I talk to people about it, especially people that aren't familiar, and there's a lot of people that still don't get it, right? They say, I don't understand. Why is this worth so much money? I don't get it. We're just selling, data. But again, the truth is that the generation that's growing up under us, we saw the internet come into existence and things start to gain value, but they are living in that world, and data ownership and your personal data ownership and those items that people spend 12 hours trying to acquire in video games, all that is stored time and information, and it's worth something. And people, the younger generation gets that, and some of us get it, but I don't know that it's the majority yet. But I think at some time it will click, and the internet of value will not only spring into existence, but it's going to be hot, hard, and heavy. And
absolutely,
I can't wait for that.
Yeah, what's really exciting is that there are these multiverse crypto projects out there. So that would be like Decentraland, right? Mm-hmm. And Decentraland is a platform for tying together various games, or we've seen casino discussions about building onto the Decentraland, and then you've got projects like Elio Trade's Super Farm, and Super Farm is a API, a technology that's been built to tie together other gaming technologies so that you can have your artifacts that you gain in the games, written as NFT, so that you have full ownership of them, so that if something happens to the platform that you were utilizing, you still have ownership of those goods. And anybody who has saw the was that 2018 movie called Ready Player One? If you haven't saw Ready Player One, and you don't get the NFT thing and the gaming and what we're talking about, go and hunt down Ready Player One and take a look at it, because each one of these worlds and these characters and everything that these people are utilizing gives you a really good pictorial of what we're talking about. And this is really what's coming in the digital gaming and the digital artwork space. So it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, Jeff, to add to that, I'm sure a lot of our members remember the game World of Warcraft. And, 10, 12 years ago, there were news stories breaking about Chinese gold farming was what it was called. And what was happening was there's a huge U.S. market that sprung up for people to buy and sell the digital gold in World of Warcraft, so people could get on the auction house and buy items. And a lot of these games are really diving into their own free market economies for the items in the game. So, the gamification of finance is going to really drive the market. So, imagine all these people that are playing these games for entertainment. Now they have the opportunity to make money doing it. And on the other side, the finance world has the opportunity to reach out to those consumers. So it's kind of a match made in heaven, and I don't see how it can fail. It's coming.
It is. It's interesting. All of the parents who complained about their children, their teenagers getting lost in video games, and then it's one of my friends who said, my friend's son came over to her and handed her a check for $140,000 US for his it was his signing bonus to join one of the professional gaming teams.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and he's kind of like, well, here, Mom, maybe you can pay your house off.
That's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, So, it's interesting. We look about our children and we want them to be involved in the real world and get a career. And here you have all of these new careers that we never even thought about.
Yeah. And, everything from YouTube to anything that can be monetized through the internet that right now is kind of clunky because of the U.S. dollar and advertising and eyeballs that everybody's trying to get. It's going to change dramatically. It's going to be gamified, and it's going to be ran through the crypto market because it's easy and it's instant. But yeah, the interface has to change a little bit. The front end, it's going to happen. It's just a matter of time. But yeah, I think that this year is the year that all those things come into play. But I think next year is going to be even bigger for crypto.
Absolutely. And going forward, we're going to see a lot of opportunities springing up in this space. And so it just goes back to our statement that we're still very, very, very early in this crypto space, and that, under a $2 trillion market cap tells us that it's small money in the space right now. It's small money. And those that are getting in early have a huge upside. So the key is, hold on to your investments, right? And have a good plan and strategy so that it's a long-term play, and that if you need to take profits along the way, take profits, but keep some investment in your favorite cryptos. Again, not financial advice. We definitely are not financial advisors, and nothing here is to be construed as financial advice. We're just giving you our opinion based on what we're reading and seeing in the market space. exciting days. Keep an eye on for what's going down at 2:30 p.m. Eastern time to see what the Feds have to say about the current market conditions.
Yep.
All right. Well, have a great day. Thank you very much, Curtis. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff. Always fun to talk.
Yep. All right, everyone. Bye for now.